All right, we're back to work on the 2002 CRF450R. Now, I showed you guys this video maybe a couple videos ago, and we did not score on the 3 dirt bikes for $3,000. This one obviously does not run. The guy said did not run. He said did not have spark. In the last video on this, we did figure out why we had no spark. And believe it or not, it was because the spark plug boot. There's a resistor inside here. This used to be the spark plug boot, right? With this plastic on here, this rubber, rather. And anyways, the resistor in there went bad. So swapped it out with another one, just a Chinese one I had, and we got spark. But when I started kicking it over, it sounded really bad. And quite honestly, in the video, you cannot hear it. The cam looks to be in perfect shape. Yeah, so I don't suspect anything there. This all was loose. There's no oil filter in here. So, basically we got to tear this engine down. I suspect we got a bad crank. Some people might say it's not worth fixing, and they probably are right, but I think this is a cool bike, and what makes this cool is this is a 2002, even though you can't see it here, CRF450R, which is the first year that they came out with the 450 for Honda. So you can see here, right there, number 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a 2002. Looks like that's been way around there for some time right there. So yeah, basically we just got to tear the engine down. I suspect there's a bad crank, but we don't know what the problem is. Let's see if there's any water in here. Nope, no water.
3 bikes for $3,000, that's the score. 1 rips right now, 2 don't anymore. YZ tools to the F sits pretty and clean. KX450F and the old red machine. Previous owner gave up, said they're done. I just smiled and said, hold my beer, son. 2 dead, 1 alive, gonna make all 3 thrive. KX first, then the CRF. Top ends off, no mercy, kickstart, army hear the battle cry. $3,000 later, all 3 fly. Green Kelly on the stand, valves like glue. Carb looks like soup, rings probably 2. But I got tools and I got time. That 450's gonna scream by the end of the line. Then the 2200 get dragged from the dome. First 450 ever, back from the dome. She started the plague, now I set her loose. 4-stroke apocalypse, no excuse. 2 dead, 1 alive, gonna make all 3 thrive. KX first, then the CRF. Top ends off, no mercy, kickstart, army hear the battle cry. $3,000 later, all 3 fly. YZ, KX, CRF. Run, you bastard!
You know, I was just thinking, I never checked the timing on this engine, but the fact that this was loose, the cam bolts were loose, I suspect they took this thing apart, probably figured out it needed a crank, and they threw it back together real quick so they could sell it. Oh yeah, that was loose too. Alright, here's the good news. Our cylinder is in fantastic shape. I'm not worried about the cylinder at all. Matter of fact, our piston looks in decent shape too. I don't even know if I'm going to replace that. It definitely looks like it's been replaced. It's got that black skirt on it. Kind of looks like maybe a Namura piston. I don't know. It looks kind of like it's forged. Maybe we can clean up the carbon on top. It definitely was running at some point. But here's the problem. You ready? The crank is just shot. Easy enough. So someone's definitely been in the cases. You can see the Honda bond here. So I don't know. The motor mounts are all loose too. So you know everything on this engine has been loose. And I don't know. That Honda bond kind of looks fresh. That case sealant. Let's see. Looks like it is the stock Honda crankshaft, the whatever you want to call this, the rod, the connecting rod. Doesn't say hot rods or anything. So I guess at this point we need to order a new crankshaft. You know, some people might not think this thing's worth fixing, but honestly, for an 02, this thing's in really good shape, and the cases are good. So we're going to freaking just go ahead and get her done. Now you can see here, I guess they had the engine out before because this is all loose. I didn't do that. That's loose. So I guess someone took the engine out to do a top end or see what was wrong with it. And here we are.
$3 grand for 3 dirt bikes. What a killer deal I scored. But this 02 Honda CRF450R, she's battered and ignored. First year they unleashed the beast, a monster on the track. Now she's limping back, crank's gone mad, but I'm bringing her back. Tearing down the engine, bolts rattling loose and wild. Someone's messed around in here, left it like a neglected child. Back crankshaft twisting, problems stacking up the score, but we'll rise above. Fix it with love, hear that CRF roar. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. Pop the covers off, grease and grit tell the tale. Engine's been invaded, every seal's gone pale. Bought someone's headache, but that's just the start. Wrench in my fist, fire in my heart. Tearing down the engine, bolts rattling loose and wild. Someone's messed around in here, left it like a neglected child. Bad crankshaft twisting, problems stacking up the score, but we'll rise above. Fix it with love, hear that CRF roar. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. Sweat dripping down, parts scattered on the floor. This ain't just a fix, it's a full-on war. Video rolling, capturing every turn, turning woes to wins. Watch the legend return. Yeah, we'll prevail. CRF450R alive once more. Hit the dirt flying, throttle to the core. 3 bikes for 3K, best bet I ever made. Ride
All right, this is just an Amazon puller I got, pretty cheap. I'll put this in the description. This works for a whole bunch of different ones. Actually, this doesn't have a really fine pitch thread, which is not exactly ideal, but whatever, it probably will work. This piece here is to protect the crankshaft, because as you can see, someone has been in here and kind of freaking mushroomed the end of this thing up. Now, I don't think that's super crucial. It's not super messed up, but that's what this is. This is a crankshaft protector. So you put that guy on, and then back this bolt out. And this guy goes on. Thread that on as much as you can. And then this, I even put a little grease on it. Put a little grease on the threads so it threads in nicely, very strongly. Then we got to figure out what socket it is. Now let's hope that this works well. Oh yeah, it was on there loose like everything else on this damn machine. So I will say it is good to have all kinds of different flywheel pullers, and especially if you're working on these all kinds of different machines. If you're working on all kinds of different machines, you already know this. Like, look at all the different ones I have in here. And I didn't even have this one. Oh, wrong door. I didn't even have this one I just showed you. So I got this one. This was for CF Moto. This is for the YOZ. These are kind of like universal for like Hondas. And I don't know what this, I think I use this on a Chinese pit bike. This is for a Honda 300EX. These are clutch pullers, so those are always good tools to have. Here's the flywheel. Bing bong boom. Looks like this right here. Holds that in. Now the timing chain can come off. Oh, yep, it's a good thing we took it off. O-ring was pinched. That's crazy to me that someone went this far into the engine. Seems like they had it out, and I don't know why it's got a bad crank in it. Seems like you make it that far, you might as well just fix it, but maybe not. Bing bong boom. Okay. Yeah, man, there's no oil in this engine. Like, you don't just have, someone's been in here. You can see someone wiped all this right here. So, anyways, I don't see anything yet that is necessarily like, oh my gosh, they didn't put it together right. I will say this nut right here looks like we're going to need a special spanner wrench. It looks like someone's already kind of, got a hold of it with a something or another, with a daggone, chisel. So, whatever. I get all these clutch bolts out. Yeah. Yeah, look at all the dirt that's on there. Yeah, this has been apart. Looks like the clutch is decent though. Steels aren't all rusty. So the basket looks, it has grooves. Oh, actually, the basket's broke. Hold on, I'll show you. Look at this. That tooth right there is completely broke off on the basket. So we're gonna need a new basket at the very least. Let's just hit it with the impact before I go grab my clutch tool. Yep, we gotta grab the clutch tool. This Motion Pro tool right here is way better than the freaking crappy vice grip ones. If you're doing this often, I suggest grabbing one of those. I need a new clutch basket. That's sad. Yes, for a Kickstarter mechanism, just pull this out like that. There's the whole kickstart situation. Oh no, party foul, there goes my monster. Does have this guy. Bing bong boom. So, looks like we got, actually it looks like the shift shaft pops right out. Beautiful. This little guy, don't forget this little guy. Why is the dog being retarded over there? So, it looks like we got 2 tins here. This is our shifter star shifting mechanism. Actually, yep, those damn things. These things right here, these little paws, are in just about every daggone dirt bike engine. Also, look, we have a shim right here that goes behind the shift shaft. But yeah, you have to make sure on these little shifting dog, whatever they're called, shifting paws, there's a little spring and plunger, right? Well, anyways, don't lose that shit, right? Good. This is the shift detent guy. That comes out. Those are pain too. Freaking put back in. Come on, damn it. Oh yeah, that thing is tight. That little shifter guy, bing bong boom. So yeah, that's shifting the transmission right now. You just turn that. So at this point, what needs to happen is we need to get these 2 gears nuts off. Yeah. So what people like to do is the correct way and best way. So another thing to note is to double check these 2 lines, those 2 dots have to be, actually all 3 here, 1, 2, 3, they need to be lined up because this is the counterbalance. This is counterbalancing the crankshaft, so there's no vibration. But anyways, we need to shove a piece of aluminum in here so we can take these 2 nuts off. Probably we'll start with this one. I don't have the right spanner wrench thing, so I'll have to buy one of those and a new nut, but we're going to just try and take it off with a punch. Should just be able to do this right here. Yep, that one ain't tight. It's a good thing we're going through this whole entire engine because not one damn thing on this thing is tight. That's funny. Now after that, pull this out. The gear is probably going to slide out the back, and honestly we probably should not take this off completely the whole way yet because we need to loosen this guy. And matter of fact, look at that. Look at that. I don't think the counterbalance was right on here to begin with. Because look at that. That should be lined up with that mark, I'm pretty sure. All those lines should be lining up perfectly. And I don't think they were. Matter of fact, let's just use some freaking TIG wire here. Some TIG rod. That'll get that baby jammed up. Okay. 17 maybe? Yep. Alright, hopefully this doesn't tear up that aluminum. That don't look too hot. Why is that like that? Alright, so I got the piston off. And it says HF2 on the bottom, which makes me think this is an OEM piston. So it's really not in bad shape at all. We'll check the ring gap. You know what, at this point this guy should be able to come out. Why is it getting hung up? Guess I need to look that up on the manual. Okay, so the manual says rotate it this way to pull it out. Look at that. No shit. So now at this point we can zip all these 8mm case bolts out and split the cases. Okay, so this is the Tusk, case puller. If you're splitting cases, you need this thing. If you don't have one, doing it with screwdrivers is just going to screw everything up. And I got a little extra protection here. This is the little crankshaft protector that came with that flywheel remover. So I'm going to set the, so I'm setting up like this, right here. Let's see, what size is this? 17? Yep. Okay, so first thing you don't want to do is do an impact. You'll friggin' screw this up. You also want to make sure these studs are threaded all the way in to the aluminum, and you want to be careful which ones you pick. This one right here does not have much meat. This one right here does. And you want to make sure it's as even as you can get it spaced out. So, also it's always good to make sure you have the stand piece off, the nut, and you want to have a little mallet or hammer by. I mean, this one's coming apart pretty easy from what I can tell. We already got a little bit of a gap on the front. Let's see here. We are getting hung up on the back. Make sure we got all the bolts out. You know what? I think the one bolt I did not take out, which is for the drain. I did not take this drain bolt out, which could be a problem. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, that's the drain. So make sure you take that out. Now that should, yeah, that was it. It's coming right apart now. And that's exactly why you don't want to go crazy with this. Alright, let's see what happens here. Okay, so these are the mystery pieces that fell down on the ground. This is part of the oil pump. Looks like, I don't know if we're missing the little pin that goes in there to begin with, or what's going on. Maybe it's on the floor somewhere. Okay, so here's where I'm at. Those parts that fell down on the ground was the oil pump. Now, I went back and looked at my video, and it's appearing that we're missing the gear and the circlip and the pin for that. So, I'll have to get one of those. Honestly, our bearings feel fine. You know, I'm not trying to go crazy with this engine. Someone's calling me. Who the hell's calling me? Okay, we have quite the mess here, but that's okay. We're getting things done. Now, the pieces that fell on the floor were the oil pump right here, the oil pump shaft. And I went back and looked on my video, and it's apparent that we're missing the gear that goes on here, the pin, and the circlip. So, I'll have to order that. Obviously, we need a new crank. Now, I did notice that this gear right here is a little chewed up. So, if I can get one of those gears for like $30, $40, maybe $50, I'll get froggy with it and order another one, but probably not. I am gonna probably just keep the crank bearings. You know, I'm not trying to get crazy with this thing. Oh my god! What? Now we're over here on the piston. This is like my 7th or 8th freaking take trying to show you the ring gap on this. Now I measured it earlier, and our service limit is 18 thousandths. And I measured it earlier, and it was at 18 thousandths. But when I was just doing it earlier, 18 thousandths was not fitting in there. So I don't know. Bottom line is, we got a really tight gap. OEM rings are like $55. I found a cheap set for $18. And we're going to go with that because this thing's, we're balling on a budget. You know, we have the OEM piston. This OEM piston is in, I've said this probably way too many times, but this piston is in good shape. So let's head over to the computer and see how much it's going to cost me to get this bike to run again. So here we are. Standard bore piston rings, $19. Here's that oil pump drive gear, $14. Now this has the gear and the circlip, but we still need a little pin. Honestly, I'll probably just cut a little bolt because I think the pin's like $1 or something, and it's going to cost $7 to ship that piece. Now, here is Casoman crankshaft for $265. You can get the OEM Honda crankshaft. It's like $450, right? Maybe, yeah, I think it's about $450. Here's a complete gasket set for $10 plus $2 shipping. So that'll be interesting. We're going cheap on this thing. Now, I did reach out to this Casoman company. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Let's see. Casoman. Was it over here in Google? Was that? Yeah. So this company is in Taiwan, and honestly, their stuff looks pretty legit. I mean, they make all these gears and stuff. And if we go to, I guess we're over here. And if we go to their crankshaft, where did it go? Where's the crankshaft? Yeah, so if we come over here to the crankshaft listing, you know, you read it. I guess where's the description? Here we go. Here is the listing for the Casoman crankshaft. Now, it says it's Taiwan, which from what I understand, China, most likely bad quality. Taiwan, decent quality. Japanese is OEM quality, right? So it says it's made in Taiwan. Allegedly, world-class needle roller bearing. Allegedly, Japanese steel. And so that's the story. Now, you know, a lot of people are going to, criticize for using, an off-brand or whatever. But here's the bottom line. You know, Honda, it doesn't make financial sense to spend $450 on this thing, especially if I'm flipping it, right? And most people are strapped for cash. So if this is a good quality crankshaft, this is a good option. Now, I did reach out to this company, so I am waiting to hear back from them, and I guess you'll see later in this video. I did, reach out to them and say, hey, I'm curious about your products and the quality of them, and if you guys make good parts, like, we need to friggin' show everyone in America, because everyone in America, is skeptical of everything, online, unless it's made in Japan. So, anyways, we'll see if they reply. So with that crankshaft is basically, this isn't even with tax. Where'd it go? $309.92. So $310. Now, there was another OEM secondhand crankshaft for $100 less. So honestly, if Casoman doesn't come through, I'm probably going to go with the secondhand crankshaft. And we're just going to wing it and hope for the best. And hopefully we can get this thing fixed for less than $250. Okay, and what I just showed you doesn't even include, we need a new clutch basket, which Honda doesn't make them. And luckily there's some sort of company that makes them for $130. And we do need a seat. But I do want to just see if we can get this engine running first. Okay, it's been a week or so since the last clip, and I ordered all the parts we need, but I did hear back from the Casoman company, and they are interested in sending me a crankshaft, but at this point, I emailed them, waited like a day or two, and then I ordered a second-hand OEM crankshaft, and they did reply like 4 days after my initial email. And they said they did want to send me one out, but then I haven't heard back since. But maybe, they do offer stuff like the 400EX and stuff and other models. So maybe we will partner up with them in a future video. Now, I did ask them about the Japanese steel, if that was a gimmick, and they said, nope, they're the real deal. So who knows? Who knows? You're never going to fold on your gimmick, right? Anyways, here's our new oil pump gear. Here's our crankshaft. Now, I did order a transmission gear set here, and I ordered a bunch of stuff from one guy, and he has the right shaft, and I saw it on his eBay store, but I guess when I went back to his eBay store again, I saw the one listing, I clicked on the wrong one. So this is doesn't have the right gears that we need on it. I had ordered a stator because the guy I bought the bike from said it didn't have spark, but I think we fixed that in the last video. What else came in? We got this. Did order a seat that's in the other shop in the garage. Let's see. I ordered some piston rings. Where did they go? Oh, here they are. So yeah, so here's the piston rings. We bought the Nomura Specialties. Produced in Taiwan, so who knows what that means, if it's good or bad. Now, I did order 2 gasket sets. They're both Chinese gasket sets. And I ordered 2 because I ordered one off eBay that was really cheap, and then the crankshaft came in, and I was like, oh man, I can get this thing back together today, or whatever, tomorrow, whatever the thing is, right? So I got on Amazon, ordered another one. Now the Amazon said that the fitment was terrible, and they were partially right. I've cut it here so everything lines up, so we can just stick a little RTV Honda bond on there to really make it seal. Which another thing is they did not have a gasket in here, so that thing was never going to run, and especially because right here with no gasket, this oil pump, it is raised just ever so slightly, so you have to have that gasket in there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now the gasket set from eBay did eventually come in, and I mean it looks like it's the same damn kit, really, let's be honest. I think this is a Caltric kit. I'm not sure. It could be a different kit, or different. The cardboard does look like a different color. The label's different. I guess maybe everything else looks the same, but this did get bent up in shipping, so it's a good thing. I guess I did order the second gasket set. What else is there to say? I guess I'll see if this center case gasket fits. I doubt it, though. This looks like the same kit for the most part. Let's see. Yeah, this center gasket with this kit is just as bad as that one was. Matter of fact, this one might even be worse because it was all folded up and it's not exactly, flat anymore. But, oh well. It's always good to have these O-rings and stuff just hanging around. And, always good to have water pump. Anyways, all this is good stuff to have. $10. I'm not mad. So let's start putting this engine back together. I don't know what I'm going to put in here or not put in here. It's a pretty lengthy video if I just show you everything. So maybe some of it will be time-lapse and maybe some of it won't. Here's our new to me crankshaft, and should just slide right in here. Oh, there's a dog here. Probably wouldn't hurt anything, but yep, that slides in like that. All I really need to do is put a little Honda bond on here just to hold this in the correct spot so everything lines up. I think we're ready to put the other case on. Okay, let's see for a 17th time if we can line everything up. Yes, that was the way to do it right there. Now it seems good. I do have a little gap still. Let's see what happens when we do this. Wonder what's holding things up here. Is it the transmission? I think that was it right there. Yeah, I got all the bolts in except for I'm missing this one. Maybe I just need to look around here a little bit more. Maybe I'll go back and look at the video. But I wanted to show you that you need to pay attention to these little arrows. So the arrows, whenever there's an arrow, that means that's where the copper washer goes. So there's an arrow there too. So it looks like there's 3 on here. And I guess I'm going to go look for this bolt. I did find our one bolt I was missing, and that's because this bolt goes to the oil feed tube. It's also a good thing to do and good practice is to put not red Loctite, but blue Loctite on any of the bolts that are inside the case so that they don't come out. If you don't remember which bolts go where, it's always a good idea just to come over here to the this is Rocky Mountain ATV, right? You can go to their OEM parts section, and like you can just click, hover over. That's a 75 millimeter bolt. This one's 50. The one I'm about to put in is 65. And then all you do is just measure it with a micrometer. Is the easiest way for me. Just measure it out. Like this is 75 right here. It's 75, so that one goes right there, I know. If you remember, well, you're missing this gear here and the pin and this little circlip right here. Now, I just found a piece of TIG rod I have, and I cut it the right length. Now, it might be a little bit small on the diameter, but that's what I easily found, and it cut easy. It's a steel one, so we don't have to worry about, it being aluminum and it shearing off. But look, that fits perfectly. So now we can just throw our little circlip on next. Here we go. It's perfectly on there. Look at that. And now this piece doesn't need to have any special timing or anything like that. But when we get to the other side, it's very crucial to get the counterbalance timed correctly. Okay, so according to the manual over here, basically this gear will only go on one way because of that notch there. The dot on the counterbalance goes straight up, and this is how the orientation is right here. It should, slide on just like that. And then basically these gears right here should line up. Boom, like that. Damn, brother! Y'all ever seen some freaking gears lined up perfectly like that? It says install this piece right here with the smooth side facing out. Right? Just like that. And then this one can only go one way as well. That should line up with the dot right there on the crankshaft. These dots right here will also line up on the balancer. You have a bolt and a washer, thick ass washer right there. And you have a washer that goes on the counterbalancer right there, and this little crazy nut. Now, I did say I was going to get the special tool, and guess what? I didn't. The manual says this gets tightened to 80 foot-pounds. This one's 33 foot-pounds. So we're going to do it the most precise way and use an impact. Got my little piece of aluminum in here, jamming it up, jamming the gears. Gucci. Now we gotta do this one. You know what I did last time? I used a freaking little piece of TIG rod. Alright, that's got to be good enough. Okay, next is going to be this stupid little guy right here. This thing is a pain. Now, I didn't take the shift star off. It was hard to get off this damn thingamajiggy. Yeah, I think this washer goes behind here. That would make sense. There. Yeah, there we go. I think it's on there enough for me to get the actual bolt that goes in there. And this is a good one. You also want to make sure you Loctite this one. You also want to make sure that this thing is seated down on the shoulder of that bolt. Yep. Where's my torque wrench? This thing's got little washers, or not washers, little springs, and these pins, and this pawl. So this, if there's anything that this engine will piss you off, it's these pieces right here. Okay, so this shifter mechanism should look like that. It also gets installed with this plate at the same time. And we got some 10mm bolts that go in there. This is what they look like. They are kind of a special one. Make sure you Loctite those. Torque these down. Pretty much all 6mm by 1 bolts in the aluminum case on an engine, they all get torqued down to like 7 foot-pounds, 6. I think it's like 6.8 or something. Mine's set to 7 foot-pounds. Now this piece goes on. This is a little shift, little whatever you want to call it. Now we can put our shift shaft in. There is a shim right there. And then it just slides in like this. Like that. Bing, bong, boom. Figure out which way this idle gear goes. It might go either way, to be honest. No. It has one way only it goes. Matter of fact, I think someone might have put it on backwards when they put this engine on, because there's a little bit of scratchiness right there. And this spring goes way down here in this hole. Come on, baby. There we go. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, so this gear really only, this faces out, it looks like. I guess that would make sense because this bushing might, you know, I don't know. But when I put it on here like this, it's flush with this kickstart gear. Okie doke. So these are torqued. Got the kickstarter gear in. Next thing that can go in is our clutch. And there's this guy right here. There's a needle bearing. And, you know, this is broken here. But this should at least work to see if this thing's going to run. Obviously, you don't want to run it like this for too long. Yep, so that should just drop in just like that. Then we got this big baby. Big old washer. This washer. We got us a washer. Looks like it goes like that. Okay, then our inner clutch hub can go on. These usually sometimes, especially new ones, are really hard to get on. Boom. Bing bong boom. Alright, what other bolts and stuff I got? Oh shit, there goes my energy drink. Little lock washer guy. That's going to go on there like that. We've got a washer like this, like that. Bing bong. Ah! Here's our nut. I'm just going to stick a little blue Loctite on it just for fun. Which, honestly, it's got the locking washer tab thing, so I don't know why I did that. Big old 27mm nut. Gets torqued to 59 foot-pounds. And we're just going to do 60, you know. Why do we have to be so damn fancy? Why can't it just be 60? Boom! Specked out there, brother. Well, you know what? Damn it, I think I was supposed to fucking put the washer on a different way. Mother trucker. Where is that? Maybe that washer doesn't even go there. Fuck. Well, that washer definitely goes there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Guess it's a good thing I put the blue Loctite on there. Okay, so crazy thing here. The clutch diagram on the parts says washer first, then the lock washer, then the nut. But then we go over here to the manual, and here they show you the opposite. You can see right there, it's the opposite. Now, I will say this is for a 2004 to 2005 machine, but I don't know, maybe it's different, but here we are. Okay, boom. I don't even know how much I put in the video or how much I will put in the video, but I did this like 3 times. And I don't know if the manual that I'm using is, since it's for an 04, 06 or something like that, since this is a 2002/03, if that's the, difference. So now at this point we can throw our clutch plates in. Okay, so the next thing that can go in is our push rod. Looks like it doesn't matter which way. Now this machine, I already looked it up, and this machine does not use a ball bearing. A lot of machines, especially the newer ones, I guess, have a ball bearing that goes in first. Literally a ball bearing. For our clutch lifter that goes in, and then you have the needle bearing, thrust washer, and then you have the washer. Now our clutch pack actually doesn't even look that bad, and according to the manual here, it doesn't look like there's any particular difference in them. I don't know, I'm not reading it that much. I'm just looking at the diagram. So obviously these go fiber, steel, fiber, and it just alternates. So I'll just show you when I'm done because I need to wipe these off. Okay, all the plates are in. So now we can throw on our pressure plate. Now we can install our clutch springs and our clutch spring bolts. Okie dokie. Things are looking good. Parts are disappearing in the good way. I think this piece goes here now with an O-ring. That little guy. Honestly, it looks like someone put a new water pump impeller on here. And it makes me a little nervous that maybe someone did replace the stuff in there. I don't have another bearing or anything. I don't know. It says Japan, so maybe it's never been replaced. Maybe it's just the impeller they replaced. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but this O-ring was just toast. And it looks like our $10 Amazon eBay gasket set comes with a new one. Okay, this is not being easy. Okay, I was able to get all the clutch cover O-ring on. It was a pain in the butt, and I did have to use some rubber cement, and even still it was kind of a pain. I had to stretch it, and then I even tried, a little bit of brake cleaner. We all know brake cleaner will expand an O-ring, especially when you're working on a carburetor, and then it's not working in your favor, right? Okay, we've moved on to the other side, the engine. So at this point, we can put on our timing chain. Our timing chain is still in good shape, it seems like. So we put it on like that. And then this is our little holder. I guess it goes like, it goes some sort of way here. Right, I guess that actually, holds the cam chain on, and it holds this oil pickup in. And of course you want to definitely Loctite this guy. This guy comes loose, you're gonna have a bad day. Torque that baby down. Make sure our keyway's in there, which it is. Fits on there perfectly like that. Then we have a washer and a nut, 17mm nut. Hold your horses, we're just gonna do some ugga-duggas on this guy. Gucci. Okay, let's see if the gasket fits worth a shit on here. Oh no! That is pretty bad. That's so bad. Let's try it out of the other kit. Now the other kit, the one kit came with a, there definitely is a difference between the kits because one came with a base gasket that's metal and one came with a base gasket that's, you know, regular, whatever gasket material. Let's try another gasket. This is pretty bad. I would definitely say don't buy these. This one, oh, this one, that one's way better. Which one was that? That one was the bent one. That was the one from eBay. So this one's way better. I think we're going to get away with this one just fine. Okay, I got a little Honda bond around our rubber here and on top there. So hopefully we don't have to take this stator cover back off. Hopefully I do have another stator if we need one. Which, I mean, it's Chinese, so say what you want. Now, we were missing this long bolt, which I think, yeah, no we weren't. We do have the one long bolt. Well, I guess we're missing it now. But we're missing an oil filter and a spring. So you know what I did. I went to Amazon and I got us a bunch of oil filters and springs. My favorite brand, Big Licknum. Whatever the hell that means. So the spring should go in here like this. And then that goes in like that. Allegedly. So let's see. I guess it only goes one way. Okay, I have the piston on, the rings on, the base gasket's on. Hey, honestly, the base gasket fits pretty good. We got our cylinder here. It's ready to rock and roll. So all we gotta do is collapse these rings. Okay, all I have to say is hopefully this thing runs, or it's going to end up like this one over here. Anyways, y'all are about to have fun watching me struggle get this engine on. Or in the frame, whatever. I think we went in this way. Something like this, maybe. Oh, Lordy, how did this thing get in here? Doesn't help that the stand's rolling. And the handlebars are in my way. Okay, how did I do this? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's way easier, I think. Did I speak too soon? Or may have spoke too soon. Maybe not. We're getting there. There we go. Bing bong boom.
$3 grand for 3 dirt bikes. What a killer deal I scored. But they sold to Honda CRF450R. She's better than ignored. First year they unleashed the beast, a monster on the track. Now she's limping back, crank's gone mad, but I'm bringing her back. Tearing down the engine, bolts rattling loose and wild. Someone's messed around in here, left it like a neglected child. Back crankshaft twisting, problems stacking up the score, but we'll rise above. Fix it with love, hear that CRF roar. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. Pop the covers off, grease and grit.
Okay, if you look, this head nut is actually different than the rest. It has that Fuji lock.
Now, I looked at the rest, the previous footage when I took it apart, and that's what was in there before. So anyways, we're going to torque our head down to 44 foot-pounds. Our Chinese head gasket fit fine, so that's good. I also put some oil on the bolts here, on the nuts, so that way we don't have to worry about them getting crazy. I don't like that one. Come on, just click. Ah, that one's not clicking. That's that other nut too. Maybe I can go find a different nut. I found another one, but this is another Fuji lock nut, but it's brand new nonetheless. I don't know. That one seems like it's freaking about to strip out. Damn it, mother trucker. I don't like that. Okay, here's another one. Things worse or better. This is a used nut. This is a, actually it looks more like the factory ones. Maybe not 100%, but that's a lug nut off the YFZ450. Let's just torque it down to 35 foot-pounds and see what happens. Torque now. That's 35 pounds, foot-pounds. Let's go 40, and I'm not going any more than that because that makes me nervous. Well, I don't know, that one seemed to be good. Let's go 44, like it, the rest of them are. Ah, there we go. Beautiful. That was crazy. Okay, here's the valve shims. I'm putting those in, make sure that they are in correctly and they're in the right valve. Now, I didn't check them before, but here we are. Guess I need to take that out. Whew, that was a damn hell of a freaking series of events. Alright, I got the timing set. Pretty sure there's two marks in here. Now the one on the right is the one you want lined up here, but they make it a little easier on this side. Right here, you see that right there? Bing, bong, boom, those are lined up. There's a little dot on that gear inside the engine. That lines up with that arrow. Now, what we want to do is line up that line with that arrow right there on the head. Or I guess it's really on the cam tower. So I have to tighten up these Allens. I need to Loctite them. And according to the, whatever it's called, the manual, the cam should be pointing this way, which makes sense. I checked the valve clearances, and honestly, I cannot find the valve clearance for the decompression mechanism. I didn't Google it yet, but I did, look in the manual. I did not see a spec for this, so I'm going to look that up. The exhaust was, I think, 11 thousandths, and then I think the intake was 6 thousandths. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Make sure you look it up yourself. Okay, the decompression mechanism has its own little adjuster here. So I don't know. I looked in the manual. I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm reading the wrong thing and they describe it funny, but the internet says 11 thousandths here between the valve and the rocker arm, and then 14 thousandths between the rocker arm and the decompression rocker arm. So we have lash, it's perfectly adjusted. I've already checked the other valves. The intakes are a little loose, but I think we'll be all right. All right, this is where we are at. I filled it up with oil, which, I don't know, I guess it settled a little bit, but there's none on the ground, so that's good news. I didn't hook up any of the cooling because I want to make sure it runs first. Got the oil filter in here. I got the transmission side filled up as well. Got all the wiring hooked up. I think I'm going to have to reroute it. I don't have it routed correctly. We do have the Chinese carburetor on there, and I did have to, or I didn't clean it out, or I went through it real quick. I popped off the 17mm nut on the bottom, checked the two jets. We do have a 45 pilot and a 175 main, which seems about right. I did put one of these quick turn air fuel mixture screws on there. The one that was in there was loose and it was missing the spring. It had everything else. I had the washer and the O-ring, but I was missing the spring. So I got that all figured out. Got the throttle cables all hooked up. Now I just took the spark plug out to make sure we have spark, because at first I didn't think we had spark, but we do. So I also took this muffler off the CRF450, that bike. It's been sitting on the shelf. Now, it's not a bolt-on, but it's pretty dang close. I think I'll be able to make that work. All right, let's check out our spark here. Let's flip this. So next thing we need to do is get our little auxiliary fuel tank right there, hook it up, and hopefully I don't have to kick my life away. Also, I did want to mention, I picked up these TikTok shop specials, these socket sets, and these things are crazy good for how much they are. This was like 32 bucks. This is a full 3/8 set. This was $27 or $28. This is a full 1/4 inch set, metric and standard on both, with extensions. Obviously you see pieces out because I'm using them over there. And then I went ahead and got this spark plug kit. You know, the spark plug kit's not necessarily anything fancy. It does come with the 6-inch extension, and it comes with all the spark plug sockets. But this is nice to have because the rubbers always come out of mine. And anyways, you know, my toolbox looks like this. Yeah, you see these. That one's missing the rubber. You know, that one does. Here's another one. That one's got the rubber, but that one looks shot. So anyways, that does not look good. This does look good. So, you know, I guess we're watching this on YouTube, but I'm going to put the TikTok links in the description. These came in pretty fast. They have, you know, it doesn't come from, I mean, it does come from China, but there's warehouses here in the USA. So if you're looking to get something for your dad, I think this one right here, the 1/4 inch, is a really good, you know, a really good deal for if you don't know what to get your dad. Literally 30 bucks, and your dad's gonna think you spent 100 bucks on them. Same thing with this one. This one's 33, I think. So these are really good socket sets. They're impact rated. So like I said, it is on TikTok, so the link will take you to the TikTok shop. Maybe you have to download the app. I don't know. Anyways, I'm about to put the spark plug back in this thing. Let's see if this thing fires. All right, this is the moment of truth. We're about to see what happens with this thing. I guess I should open the garage, but I guess we can do that once it starts up, if it starts up, right? It's pretty ballsy of me to think it's going to start up. So, it's probably going to be pretty loud, too. I guess we'll do the choke. Let's see what happens here. Look at that! Oh no! Oh, we are leaking fuel. Oh well. We're leaking a little fuel. Let's put the idle back up. Turn the choke off. Let's see what happens now. So freaking stoked. Hell yeah. Dude, we fixed the freaking one that had no chance at living. Heck yeah. Woo. Seemed to run good if that noise you were hearing was this crazy amount right here. Well, I'm going to have to screw with this one tomorrow because I got to ship some parts. Woo, that was awesome. All right, so I don't know how this is my life. You just saw this bike run. I went to the gym, ate dinner, tried to start this thing, and it is locked up. It's turning over a little bit. Now, I took the spark plug out because I thought maybe the carburetor, hydro locked, because the carburetor was acting up. And anyways, that's all we get. Now, I don't know what the heck is going on. As you see here, I took off the valve cover, and it's pumping oil up top because honestly I forgot to put oil up here and like lube everything, so I just doused everything off camera with the fluid film. Where is it at? Right there. So you can see like right here on top of the cam caps, right there, the fluid film, because the oil doesn't go there. The oil probably just pours out somewhere. But you can see there's plenty of oil in there. And I did pull off this oil filter. There's no shavings. Now, I think I showed before, the oil in here. Now, it is low right now that it's, pumped some up there. But I do have to tip the bike over a little bit, right? And there's oil coming out. So, I don't know. I'm kind of worried maybe I put this on wrong. I don't think this goes on backwards. Or, I think it goes on one way. Because I didn't realize this until after I did this, that oil goes here into here and then goes through the crank. And I don't know why I didn't realize that until now. Yeah, no, that little hole right there goes through there. And I don't think this goes, yeah, this only goes one way. It doesn't go the other way. It's offset just enough. Now, that shiny stuff you're seeing is just air bubbles. But there's no shavings in there. If there were shavings, you would see a bunch of shavings. Oh, wait, maybe there are a little bit. Oh, no. But that doesn't seem like a whole bunch. That just kind of seems like whatever was, residual. It doesn't seem like a whole lot. So, I don't know. It kind of seems like something's obviously hanging up. I'm kind of on the fence of figuring out which side to take apart first. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's like 9:30 at night. I was trying to just, put this off till tomorrow, but of course, it's driving me crazy. Yeah, I think it's got to be something on the clutch side over here. Because it is turning. You see the valves going down in the cam right there. You can see the cam for sure. But I hear something kind of behind the clutch, I think. I don't know. I guess I'm going to pull this side cover off, drain the oil, and I'll show you what I find. Okay, so here is the good news. I got the cover off, and the engine turns over just fine. I don't know why it sounds like there's so much stuff in the cylinder. Now, I don't know. It has to be something up with the kickstart gear or something. Because when I pulled off the cover, I don't know, a lot of the stuff is more towards the back. There's a little chunk there, so nothing towards the front here. It's all in the back. Now, obviously, as well, I took the cover off. This kind of pulled out a little bit, so maybe I don't know, got freed up. But at least at this point, I can sleep good tonight that this engine didn't just blow up randomly for no reason, which is kind of what I was worried about. So I thought maybe that this backed off or something over here for the counterbalance. Thought maybe some sort of bolt backed off when I shut the engine off. But it's got to be something with this kickstarter binding up. Maybe that one gear, I don't know if I put it in the video, but maybe that one gear, that's like the idle gear for the kickstarter. I wasn't sure which way it went. And maybe that was it. I don't know. It looked like it. I guess, I thought I did everything right. Obviously not. I screwed up somewhere. Okay, I tore it all apart. And the only thing I can find is right here. You can see there's a little bit of, scrapage on the case. And I reinstalled this. Now, the only other thing I can think of is this spring kind of was folded over here when I just reinstalled it. I had to make sure I pushed it further on. So anyways, I don't know. I took that apart. It seems like it's in there right. Remember this gear right here, I was like questioning if this is the right way or not. But that is flush, so that's got to be, or you know what? Maybe it doesn't go, because it looks like it might be scraping up against that bearing. Does it go this way? It might go that way. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the edge of this gear, the very edge of it. Kind of hard to see in the camera, maybe. Ever so slightly, looks like it's been rubbing here, maybe? I don't know. Why does it? I mean, this way it definitely has no clearance issues. Right? That's all the way up. No clearance issues. If we go this way, yeah, I think I had this in backwards maybe. I don't know. I don't remember which way I put it in. In the manual, I looked in the manual. The manual's not very clear on which way it goes. That definitely seems to go that way better. So maybe that was my problem. I didn't see any other major issues, so at least, the engine didn't blow. Well, actually, I'm also looking at the back of this clutch, and look, these rivets right here look like they were hitting something. That definitely seems like that was my issue, because it would turn a little bit. And matter of fact, at one point I got it to turn, almost a whole rotation, and then it caught again. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, so we're probably jumping from a completely different scene or act or whatever you want to say. I don't know. I put that clutch back together with that gear in the other way. Seems to be fine now. It's running good. Filled it back up with oil, and of course I got a damn mess. So the irritation is getting really high right now. Now, this is the CRF450R muffler that I have, and this almost lines up, but then it starts hitting the subframe mount, and if we pull it out, I don't know if it ever even lines up, to be honest. But I think I just need to figure out some way to mount this right here. I might even have to weld a bracket on, I'm not sure. So it looks like I'm gonna have to take this muffler apart. Okay, this is what I have here for the muffler. I took it all apart, and I'm just, actually, I didn't show you this. The mount was this crazy mount that went in there. So I just cut out this, I don't know, it's probably 3/16, maybe 1/8 inch aluminum. I'm gonna weld this the whole way down, and then I'm gonna put a big, thick 1/4 inch bracket on here to mount on the subframe. So I'm kind of in a rush. I would love to show you more of this, but the video is like at least an hour long already, and I started on this Monday, and I thought I was done, and anyways, now it's Tuesday, or I'm sorry, now it's Wednesday. So I'm trying to figure this out and finish it up. we can take it for a spin because I got other things to do because I'm going out of town and now I'm getting in a rush. So here we go.
$3 grand for 3 dirt bikes. What a killer deal I scored. But they're sold to Honda CRF450R. She's battered and ignored. First year they unleashed the beast, a monster on the track. Now she's limping back, crank's gone mad, but I'm bringing her back. Tearing down the engine, bolts rattling loose and wild. Someone's messed around in here, left it like a neglected child. Back crankshaft twisting, problems stacking up the score, but we'll rise above. Fix it with love, hear that CRF roar. From junkyard blues to trailblazing highs, CRF revival under garage lights. From junkyard blues.
Okay, this is where I'm at with the muffler. I don't know. They look pretty good, but I mean, I guess they definitely don't look professional. But considering where I started on this project as far as aluminum welding, it looks pretty legit. So this is a 1/4 inch piece right here. Had to notch that out. I still have to put packing in it. I don't have any exhaust packing, so I don't even have the baffle in there, or the little serrated pipe, perforator pipe. I also need to make a mount that goes from here to here. Should just be an easy little, bracket or whatever. And at this point, we're just gonna put this thing back together and take it for a spin. All right, I think we saved another one. Now, I already took it up and down the road a little bit off camera, but I'll do it again here. This thing runs really good. The exhaust is super loud. Like I said, there's no packing or baffle in here, so it literally is a tin can, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's hot too. There's no muffler packing in there. But I'm excited that we got that done because this exhaust wasn't selling on eBay, and the freaking exhaust for these things, they want big bucks for for these old bikes because they don't make them anymore. So sorry about the generator in the back. I don't know, maybe we leave this, maybe I get a different fuel filter. These are really good fuel filters if you can, if you have the real estate. I did find some on Amazon that are a little shorter. They look like the same brand, maybe, same style, same manufacturer. I'll definitely put these in the description, so make sure you check those out. Good fuel filters are hard to find that don't, just come apart after, being exposed to fuel. So this is the seat. I don't know if we said it in this video, but the seat, there was no seat. The guy that bought this originally said all it needed, or he bought it from a guy, and that guy said all it needed was a seat and a muffler, which it needed a lot more than that. We needed to do a crankshaft, which really that was all it needed in the bottom end. And matter of fact, if you've watched the whole video here, we were missing that the oil pump gear, and then later I told you, the guy didn't use a gasket, he just used the case bond to seal the cases. Well, that's why he didn't have that gear in there, because that, like I said in the video, that oil pump sticks out just a little bit. So if that makes sense, the gasket, you have to have that gasket in there for that oil pump to turn, and they did not have a gasket. So if they had that gear in there, this thing would really probably not turn over that easy. It wouldn't have been an easy sell for someone. But yeah, I think I do need to figure out, there's a spacer right there missing. They don't make it anymore either. And then I don't know, when I was putting the engine in, I couldn't tell if the right spacers are in there. I don't know. I do not know. It's really hard to see in there. Like, I don't know, is that right? I guess it looks right. I think the thing is when I was hitting the bolt with the impact over here, it just kept going and going and going, and you can see the frame squeeze in. So I don't know, I got kind of nervous, backed off a little bit. These are things I will investigate in the next video. We are going to do another video on this thing because the plastics, they've been replaced. And besides these stress cracks right here, not cracks, but stress marks, you know, they clean up good, and we can just cover those stress marks with graphics. And they make like a replica OEM graphic. I think it looked really cool. Maybe not really cool, but you know, 2002 is the first year. I don't know. I guess I nerd out on that for whatever reason. Maybe we'll get one of those universal Amazon seat covers, see how that does. And this one's pretty rough. But the 03 and 02 are like a 1 year only or 2 year only seat. I got to get some fresh grips on there. I bought some grips, but they were no good. Maybe I said this already, maybe I didn't, but the clutch is not working, so we got to get back in that clutch, which we already did know that the basket is jacked up. So maybe I didn't put the clutch lifter in there right. Maybe, I don't know, maybe those aren't even the right clutch plates. I don't think that one finger being broken, maybe it could be. I don't think that one finger being broken is really going to cause an issue. So anyways, I'm going to put the GoPro on. Let's go take this thing for a spin. Actually, I'm going to start it up for you guys real quick. This thing is super loud. And it starts up pretty good. Usually like 1 or 2 kicks. I adjusted this clutch a little bit more, but there's no play in there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a running start. baby is loud. Neighbors gotta be pissed. All right, well, we're back. I don't know what's wrong with the clutch. I don't know. I feel like that clutch arm is correct. You know, I did have, you know, a free play in here, but I freaking adjusted it all the way in, and it's still not right. It's still not releasing. Luckily, we don't have to take this whole cover back off. We should be able to do everything right here through the quick change cover. Now, the brakes, the rear brakes are not working. Looks like we got decent pads. Let's see. What? I don't know. Maybe they just need to be bled. Might need a rebuild kit. Not sure. Decent tire. You know, if you're a real motocrosser, you're not buying a 2002 anyways. But that tire will work. It's got the original wheels. It looks like the Excel Takasagos. You know, I think overall, and actually, I mean, y'all saw I was doing wheelies. It was pulling, even with the clutch slipping. This thing's a freaking monster. It was pulling wheelies in like third gear. So overall, pretty excited to get this thing running. We got oil in it. You know, I'm surprised the Chinese carburetor is, you know, running good as it is. You know, we are not running an air filter. Shame on me, probably sucking a bunch of junk out of the bottom of the air box, but you know, oh well. No smoke. You know, we didn't really go through the head. So pretty cool bike. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are probably gonna say it's not that cool. Yeah, it's clapped out rig. But I just think, for me, the fact that it's the first year of the Honda 450, this is the first 450 Honda ever made. You know, not this specific one, but you know, this year. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Now, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, because according to YouTube, 90% of you guys aren't even subscribed. Y'all are just raw dogging YouTube right now, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. We got plenty more projects. My freaking shop is a mess. The tester came for this. You can see right here the arm stator tester guy right here. And I really should have tested it, you know, tested things, but you know, one project at a time. I really should have tested it, you know, while real quick. That way I could order CDI, because I'm going out of town next week. And so when you are seeing this, I guess I'll still be in town, but I'll be gearing up to go out west. So need to pump out some more videos so I can get those scheduled. At this point I'm rambling, so if you guys like four-wheelers or dirt bikes or crazy contraptions like this, maybe some fabrication, you know, we're getting into some more fabrication on this channel. You know, hey, that's what we started out with, and this is where we're at. And I'd say in like a month's time, I've come a long way. So appreciate you guys watching. See you next video.
Real Jesse Peterson finds in the rough.